Welcome back to the Phils Boardroom. We are touching base on the last 2 weeks of your Philadelphia Phillies. This is Dave, and as always, joined by the co-chairman of the board, Tom.
Good to see you, Dave, as always.
As always.
Hope we do this in person forever.
Yeah, it would be nice.
As much as possible.
We're having a blast doing it this year, first year. It's been overall a very good year for us. And in the bigger picture, it still is a great year. But these last 2 weeks have definitely been the hardest of the season. And it's going to be kind of painful going through some of these things today, but we'll make it fun.
Yeah, I mean, really, since the opening series, this is kind of it's been a party most of the year.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm glad that you brought that up before we dive in. It is really a lot like coming out of the All-Star break is a lot like it's been at the beginning of the season. Kind of similar starts. Hopefully they go on a tear like they did at the beginning of the season. But
yeah, that's actually a very good point. But let's start off here. We do a team icebreaker, a little ring the bell every show. So we figured appropriately, as we come into the Phils Boardroom, we have a couple new board members. I don't know what we call players actually, as far as directors of the board. Are
they employees?
Yeah. But there's a couple of new faces. This is going to be obviously circled a lot around the trade deadline tomorrow, 6 p.m. We're recording this on Monday, the 29th. So we're going to do, if anybody's ever been in a new classroom with a new kid or a new hire in your corporate environment, it's where you're from. Tell us a fun fact about yourself that everybody loves to do.
All right, so we have two new players that have come up. Do you want to play one and I'll play the other, basically?
Sure.
All right.
I'll take Charlie Sheen.
You'll take Charlie Sheen. All right. Go ahead with Carlos Estevez.
So Carlos Estevez, this was actually a very exciting pickup. And full business review, we'll get a little more into the nitty-gritty of it. So he's from the Dominican Republic, signed with the Rockies as a free agent in 2011 at the age of 18. Some people claim that those ages aren't always accurate when they're free agent signings from...
he may actually be 25 when he signed.
We're not truthers here. But he debuted in 2016. He's a very large individual. And the fun fact we kind of just gave away, Charlie Sheen's actual name is Carlos Estevez, so I'm sure there'll be plenty of jokes about Charlie Sheen from...
Wild Thing.
Wild Thing.
I don't know what his actual come out song is, but... I would hope that it is that, but I doubt it. That would be amazing if he did.
That'd be electric. Also, one other quick fun fact, and this is probably worth getting into a little bit more when we break it down, but him and Jeff Hoffman were teammates in Colorado together, and apparently were very close and still play Call of Duty together. They're Call of Duty teammates. So that's pretty awesome.
Great. It's great. Yeah, I saw that. Jeff Hoffman said there's also a big group on the Phillies that play COD too, so that's good for them. Fun. Just guys being dudes.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So Austin Hayes. Austin Hayes is from Port Orange, Florida, drafted in 2016 and played for the O's since 2017.
Florida man.
Florida man, Austin Hayes. Fun fact, in a 15-inning, 11-10 loss to the Toronto Blue Jays at Rogers Center on September 23rd, he became the first MLB rookie to have at least 5 RBIs, a stolen base, and an outfield assist in the same game since the RBI became an official stat in 1920.
That's kind of wild.
That is a very, very random.
Yeah.
Very random set of achievements there, but...
And this is one of those things like...
that's a Kirkjian for sure.
Yeah, as Tim Kirkjian would agree, the ghost runner, if it's around to stay, I don't know how many 15-inning games we're ever going to see again. I hate the ghost runner.
Yeah, 15-inning game. I mean, the most ever since the Ghost Runner has probably been about 13, maybe? I don't even know.
That's a good question, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. All right, so 2 new guys. As Tom said, we will touch on them a lot more deeper once we get into the people segment here later in the show. So let's move on to recognition. So with these trades that have come up, we obviously want to recognize the players that departed from our team. Sir Anthony Dominguez and then Christian Pache. Thank you for your time as Phillies. Sir Anthony probably had more of a more established, better career with the Phillies overall than Pache did, especially in 2022. Or at least he definitely had a more established career with them.
In memoriam, like in The
Yeah, and
arms
we signed him
of-
back in like 2011 or something ridiculous.
Sorry, Sir
When he was
Anthony.
a teenager. Yeah, so he's been with us the whole time, and he was interviewed when he went to the Orioles, and he said he hopes that the Phillies still go to the World Series.
Nice.
Yeah, so he's a great guy. He just
He'll
he's
forever
been struggling the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, and he'll forever. I mean, that 2022 breakout run to the World Series, he was absolutely dominant that entire run. He was a humongous part of that.
Huge part of it.
That alone, he'll forever be a guy that's remembered. And I hope it helps him rebound, because he just got to a point where he just was struggling. I don't know if he would have got the confidence back here. I think a change of company was the
change of pace. Yeah,
was the right
change of scenery.
Yeah, hopefully he can pick it back up. I always like Sir Anthony.
Yeah, I did too. And then in Pache, he had flashes from time to time, but it never fully kind of put it all together for us. There were people, especially at the beginning of the season, thought that he should start over Rojas, but even still throughout the season, it didn't necessarily pan out and come to fruition for him. Previous number 1 overall player in the minor leagues when he was with the Braves. And, wish him the best, too, with the Orioles, and hopefully he can have a good career there.
Yeah, and cool, he gets to go to Contender. I think he had a good game, his first game out there. And another one where Dombrowski moving the chess pieces around, it worked out because he just doesn't fit now.
Yeah,
where
he doesn't. He doesn't. He was
the
odd man out. Moving on, we also want to recognize new director of the board, Tom Tegg from Phoenixville. We had a great conversation with him a few weeks ago, a week and a half ago, out at a bar and restaurant in town. It was nice to meet him and really good conversation. So, Tom, if you're listening, thanks for listening, and I appreciate the conversation.
Yeah, it was a pleasure watching the game with you guys. Shout out Teague Lumber.
Yeah. And then also Bohm. We didn't touch on this yet, but the rumor mill is swirling. Rumored to have a relationship with ESPN's Aaron Dolan.
Deserves a round of applause.
It does. Good for him. Good for him.
She was at the game I saw on Instagram.
Over the weekend.
And I had to double check. I was like, crap, was this the game I was at? No, I was there Sunday. She was there Saturday.
So she's a known big Philadelphia sports fan. She's from the Philadelphia area. She also spent a lot of time down in Avalon, down the shore. And over the past couple of weeks, right after the All-Star game, Bohm was seen down in Wildwood at one of the restaurants down there. And then last week, Marsh was actually seen at a different bar and restaurant in Stone Harbor, which is right next to Avalon. They basically share the same island. And so I think there's a lot of smoke to it. And it's even funnier if it's true that Bohm not only goes down to Avalon, but he also invited Marsh to the house too.
They probably share a car at this point.
They probably do. Like, hey, can my roommate come over too?
Yeah. Hey, can you bring a friend?
Can my roommate come to your beach house?
You bring a friend for my friend.
But good for him. It seems like the rumor is true.
I guess sad news for a lot of female listeners, though. Alec
Bohm is taken.
Currently off the market, it seems.
Yeah, well, next man up is Marsh, so.
True.
All right. And then also want to congratulate directors of the board, Walter and Mackenzie, for getting engaged over the weekend. So another round of applause for you guys. Congratulations. And then last, but definitely not least, our sponsor, Tom.
Happy to once again be brought to you guys by the Boardroom Phoenixville. Do a great job down there if you're ever in the Phoenixville area or planning to visit. The streets shut down for the whole summer. They have a phenomenal menu they put together. George and Tony, new summer menu just dropped. I had the spare ribs the other day. They were phenomenal.
They look good.
Yeah, Boardroom Distillery in Lansdowne. They have all the cocktails, espresso martinis or Sunday brunch. They do a great job. New patios open. Bands playing over the weekend. Go check them out. Tell them Tom and Dave sent you if you're in the area.
And you can get those cocktails and beer right outside, especially in the summer weekends. Like Tom said, the streets close down, and you can carry it around the main street there. So it's a great little spot to stop by and get a drink on a nice summer day. Also have very, very good Jello shots, by the way.
Yeah.
They were the best Jello shots I've ever had.
Jello shots every weekend, a little street closure bar. I think they were recently the #1 restaurant on Yelp, too, in the Phoenixville, which is pretty cool.
That makes sense.
So check those guys out.
All right. Moving on to the industry update. All right. So obviously, with the trade deadline looming tomorrow at 6 p.m., a couple trades have already happened over the past really week now. I am going to butcher this name because I can never say it right.
Yeah.
But Randy Arozarena from the Rays, now with the Seattle Mariners. He was rumored. Reason why we're bringing this up, because there were rumors flying too that we were going to go after him. I bet you we probably did. I saw that we bulked at the asking price for him, but ultimately he ended up at the Mariners.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds about right. And a bit inconsequential to us. But
yeah, it doesn't mean much to us now. But a familiar name that signed there last season with the Rays, Zach Eflin got traded to the Orioles. So a lot of Orioles-Phillies connections going on right now. And it would have been great to see him if there was any way possible for him to come back, but they wouldn't do that. I get it.
Would have been cool.
It would have been amazing because he loved it here.
Not exactly what fit weird. Look, we're
Aaron Nola's best friend.
More bullpen.
They still go on vacations together, like all of those guys.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So best of luck to him. Hopefully, if we see him in the World Series, we smoke him still, though. But I think he pitched pretty well. Was it yesterday?
Yeah, I mean he's had a good career.
He's turning into a pretty good
of late. So, and then Jazz Chisholm, also a name that was floated early on for us. Obviously a center fielder, solid center fielder. He is now with the Yankees, and we'll talk a lot about them later on in the show. But he's now with them, and what I heard is that us and the Dodgers didn't want to have anything to do with him just because of it wouldn't have been a good culture fit. That's the rumors. Like he's kind of a diva.
It makes sense, and the Yankees are the team that historically just sticks a bunch of good players together. So they crush the regular season and lose in the
try
playoffs.
To make it work. Yeah.
We'll have a call later with a diehard Yankees fan that we went to Penn State with. Just a little teaser. So I'll try to keep any obvious Yankees trash talk till then.
Yeah, we'll leave it for later. Then Mason Miller, still not traded. Obviously, he was one of the biggest names on the trade block from the A's. He pitched. He played against us the other day, a couple weeks ago now. He is now on the 15-day IL with a fractured pinky after punching a table in the clubhouse.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
I missed that.
It was a trainer's bench. It was a trainer's table. He punched it and fractured his pinky.
Wow. So could you imagine that might be the most expensive fractured pinky of all time, depending how the rest of this trade deadline goes.
Most expensive for the A's because they might not the market might not be as high.
I mean, I meant for him personally, as far as him cashing in on a big contract. His agent,
maybe. Yeah,
his agent's probably punching tables.
Yeah. So he's still out there. I don't think we're going to make any moves for him now. Doesn't quite make a lot of sense. Seems like we got our closer with Charlie Sheen, and also known as Carlos Estevez. But it's something of note.
For sure. Yeah, and we'll keep locked in, see if we get any breaking news while we're recording. It's like 6 o'clock on Monday, so about 24 hours almost exactly left in the trade deadline.
And then another injury to note across the league, Albies, the shortstop for the Braves. Everybody remembers him from last year's playoffs, the stare down with Harper.
Attaboy Harper.
Yeah. He got hurt, and he's out for the rest of the season, or is it? I don't really know. Or 6 weeks. I don't really remember.
It was significant.
But Whit Merrifield got signed to help replace him as some depth there with the Braves. And then as soon as he came up, he had a contusion on his finger that had to get X-rays, came back as negative. But now Merrifield is with the Braves.
Braves are getting beat up.
They are getting beat up.
Yeah, and the Mets, I think, are within a game time of recording.
They were tied with them at one point. And
crazy. That's
the Braves
crazy.
1-2.
Mets' hopes are going sky high right now, which is wild.
It is crazy. All right.
Left wrist fracture.
Fracture?
Yeah.
It's probably at least
6
to 8 weeks. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Yeah, well, it's significant for sure. That's rough.
Yeah, and the Braves are definitely getting hit with the injury bug. Obviously, don't want to win the division that way, but they're struggling right now. All right, everybody's favorite time. Let's get down to business, and we will talk about our injury updates with safety, mostly, all of these here are pitchers. We've run into some bad luck with injury bug around our pitching staff, most notably and most recently Ranger, now on the 15-day IL, which is retroactive to, last Monday or Tuesday when he pitched?
Right.
Twins.
So, yeah, it feels like we're essentially just continuing our conversation from 2 weeks ago. Still hasn't really cleared itself, but a couple minor developments, really.
Yeah, it's the lower back injury. They don't really provide any other additional details as to what specifics there are. He's obviously not right. He did pitch better in his last game, and we'll talk about it, but still want to see him get healthy is most important, especially in the long stretch coming up here to end the season and then also for the playoffs.
Yeah, and I don't think we'll get into a little bit more of kind of how everybody in the NL is slipping and kind of in baseball, all the top teams. But it's a home stretch, 2 months. I think the priority is get healthy. If he needs the rest, do it now. Get momentum before the playoffs.
Yeah, you don't win any special prizes by winning the most games in the regular season.
Right.
You just don't. We obviously want to win the NL East, get that, but
home field in the World Series is determined now by record, though.
Oh, that is true.
So
you're right.
The one.
So yeah, you're right.
Not the All-Star game for forever. That was a stupid.
That was so stupid.
Anyway,
Glad they got rid of that. Either way, injuries with the pitching staff, most notably Ranger, kind of sets us up for, with him and Wheeler that just came off of an injury too, or along the All-Star break. Is it workload related? Yes or no? I don't know. But we've been talking about this, or at least I've been talking about this all year long, all season long. This is setting up for a 6-man rotation, especially with Taiwan's going to be coming back sooner rather than later. He's going to start a rehab assignment soon. And then Turnbull could be, honestly, not too far behind him. I'm not exactly sure. I tried to look up and see if there were any updates on him. Couldn't really find too much, but he shouldn't be too far behind. And then with the way Tyler Phillips is pitching right now.
It's unbelievable.
You have 3 guys to fill basically 2 spots. And one of them is going to be the odd man out, going to go to the bullpen. But I think that there's really going to be a push, especially to take the workload off the rest of the regular season, to be that 6-man rotation.
Yeah, and it's something the last couple of years under Rob Thompson have kind of gone into in the late August, early September, and I feel like there's a year to lean into it a little bit more. It's this season.
Yeah,
because they got to figure it out a little bit. But it's a nice revelation when you have a kid come in his third start, pitch a complete game shutout.
Yeah, we'll talk about him much more. It's been fun to watch.
Walker was throwing the other day.
He was throwing. He hasn't started a rehab assignment yet, though, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Turnbull, I can't really find much on.
So I'm sure when the news settles down,
flying under the radar,
and the dust clears, we'll
have more to come out. So let's move on to people, and let's get into more specifics on the trade deadline for us, for the Phils. And we touched on these two already with Austin Hayes and Carlos Estevez as the 2 new employees, team members of the Phillies. Austin Hayes, again, came from the Orioles for Sir Anthony and Pache. And so far this year, this was pretty interesting of note, and I think could really, really help us in an area that we're struggling. He was hitting .328 while with the Orioles against lefties this year. Obviously, that's important to note because Brandon Marsh is hitting like 140 against lefties, but 300 or around 300 against righties. So they're a good 1-2 punch platoon option, it seems like, on paper.
And that's a lot of the talk with a lot of looking at outfielders, but Hayes kind of, like, not as much as like a Logan Thomas, who was pretty clear cut. And Rob Thompson has even come out and said he anticipates Hayes being an everyday guy and left. Yeah,
that's what makes it interesting because he's calling. What are you going to Rojas Marsh?
So then Marsh platoon in center field, which is like, okay, well, Pache's gone, so that's kind of what it's going to be now, and have Rojas more in the role of defense late in games, pinch hit,
Or is there a world, Tom, where they're just trying to throw the scent where Rojas is actually going to get traded. They're looking to trade Rojas because also something to note from yesterday, Marsh started against a lefty.
Yeah.
And they said it was because of, it was an incentive for him. But Rojas hasn't played for the past couple games. And I don't know if he's going to be playing tonight or starting tonight. If he doesn't start tonight, too, they might not be putting him out there to risk injury or to risk a bad game. They feel like his stock is as high as he can be. They're trying to trade him to make a bigger move for a bigger outfield bat like Louis
Don't
Robert.
say Rooker.
Not Rooker. Rooker's not going to.
I keep seeing it pop up, and I just don't see
Is it Louis Robert or Louis Robert Jr.?
I believe
Louis Robert Jr. He's been the guy who's been rumored for most of the season to come out, and he's been a really good center fielder. He hasn't had necessarily the stats this season so far, but he's been a really good center fielder for the White Sox, who obviously are terrible this year. I think that they could make a move they want to figure out this center field position for once and for all. They go and get him, and then they just platoon Hayes and Marsh, which makes sense in left field.
That would be pretty awesome. Yeah, I mean, and because Hayes platooning, though, I mean, this is a guy that's coming off an all-star season.
But he, yes, he came off an all-star season, but he only played 63 games for the Orioles this year.
I mean, Marsh would just kind of be
the odd man out. So they were already platooning.
Marsh would kind of be the odd man out, is what it feels like. But if you get Louis.
I think it's Louis Robert Jr. I think I messed it up. Watch him come here and just be like, all right, we really need to figure out his name.
I was going to trade, and I listened to this podcast. They kept screwing on my name, so I went to the Dodgers. Yeah. So, because that's the thing. Because that's the other thing. The other trades, they didn't give up any of the top prospects, so they still have the ability, for sure. It doesn't feel like
they definitely do.
It doesn't.
Yeah, like I could see Rojas be like a Rojas and not Painter. I really don't think it's going to be Painter.
Mick Abel, maybe.
Mick Abel was a possibility. I don't think Aiden Miller is going to be on there.
Guy.
Could be Crawford or Mick Abel potentially. I think Painter and Miller are the two untouchables.
I don't think anybody's untouchable.
That's what I've heard.
Well, I guess it depends who they.
I mean,
for Louis Robert, yes, yeah, Louis. We'll be apologizing for this next episode.
Hopefully we will. Hopefully we'll be talking about him a lot.
Let's not dwell on him. Well, let's not dwell on him though, because we'll get either news or not.
24 hours, we'll find out.
Yeah.
But then Carlos Estevez from the Angels for 2 minor league arms, George Clausen and Samuel Ottagari.
Yeah, everybody's horrified to see them go. No, I mean
they are. I think we heard about them.
5-6 prospects, like whatever.
Like 6 and 7.
We got a window. We need to win. Yeah,
that's the thing. Is like we have no idea when they're actually going to be able to come up to the bigs and not be physically ready to come up to the bigs, but then also when they're going to be availability and spots to come up, especially with our pitching staff.
And speaking of physically,
not much room at the end.
Yeah, and speaking of physically and bigs, Carlos Estevez is huge.
Weighing in at 6'6", 277. He is now the biggest player on the team, overtaking Alvarado.
So is Alvarado not? If he's a fat boy,
big fat boy,
we got a new.
There's a bigger fat boy.
But
he doesn't actually look. He's just big. He looks like Lane Johnson big, like huge dude.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you love to see it, and I mean, if you could have Hoffman. And I never want to see Soto in a late inning high leverage. That was my other thought. Was like back-to-back games.
He asked for that, by the way.
Back-to-back games. I don't care. I was they throw him in the ninth after blowing in the ninth again. We take an L, and it's like, are they trying to put him in a high leverage situation? He does well as trade bait. Was that another? Like everything close to the trade line makes you think they're doing something.
Maybe
because it just seemed
maybe.
I don't know, but Hoffman.
He could have sensed it was either going to be him or Sir Anthony or something like that. And
but Hoffman, Estevez, 8-9, go home, get a save, play Call of Duty. I'd love to keep seeing that the rest of the year.
Yeah, it would be great. And then, he's been playing really well this season too. He's 20 for 23 in save opportunities with a 2.38 ERA and a .74 WHIP. But honestly, his last 2 months have been even crazier. Since May 21st, he has a 0.00 ERA
in 2 months.
Over 2 months now, a .38 WHIP, and 12 for 12 in saves. Absolute lights out, like Brad Lidge-esque type numbers.
And it's talk about a guy you can throw into a bullpen room that's struggling. It doesn't get much better than that. And going back to he was also an All-Star last season. He started last season, I believe, 21 of 21. And then I think he had a couple injuries, missed a little bit of time.
How was he not an All-Star this year?
I think he might have missed a little bit of time early.
Oh, did he?
I think.
I mean, he's had 12 saves in the past 2 months.
Coming off an injury like early.
Maybe he had a little bit of an injury, but
yeah, I think
that's a little crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll take it. He's now ours.
Yeah, be an All-Star for us next year, hopefully.
Hopefully, and
great pickup though.
Great thing. Yeah, and Dave, we trust, obviously. It's a great name. So I think there's could be one more move in him, and I still think that it's going to be a big outfield bat. That's a lot of people who think that. I get it. That's the only one that makes sense, but I don't know. Do you think anything else that could potentially be out there? A starting pitcher, another bullpen arm?
I still have faith in our starting pitchers, and I'm just thinking playoff. You got Wheeler, Nola, Ranger, and then somewhere between Turnbull, Tyler, you can have that other guy to finish out the rotation. But obviously it's not healthy right now, but I still have faith. Is it to go out and get it? I feel like to go get another bullpen arm would almost be better, another setup guy. But no big name in the bullpen.
No.
If we're getting a big guy, it would be another outfield bat. Yeah.
This is crazy stuff because I don't even know if this is even feasible or realistic. But do you trade one of our back end starters? Is there a world where we could trade Taijuan Walker? Because if there is, I would sign up for that. For a bullpen arm.
I don't know.
Is that crazy? I don't know. I feel like I would do that.
If there's a world,
or Turnbull.
Also,
right,
on Dombrowski, there was an interview the other day that talked about going and getting your guy. This was apparently the third season in a row trade deadline that he tried to go after Hayes. And,
oh, really?
Yeah, it was just the price was way too high the last 2 seasons. He was able to snag him this year. So, this is a guy they wanted.
Been high on him for a while then.
Yeah, and the culture fit, he's boys with Hoffman. So, I really like it pick up a lot.
All right.
That's the thing. It's don't do too much, but if there's something else out there, I don't know. I like the way it's constructed right now. Obviously, health aside.
Yeah.
Pitching health.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see. Again, 24 hours. We'll find out some more. Or by the time you're listening to this, less than 24 hours. But
right.
We'll find out soon enough. All right, so let's get into delivery. We went a little out of order this week with our business review. Usually people's one of the last ones, but obviously felt it was important to touch on them first. But delivery, overall record, looks pretty good, 65 and 40. I think if you asked somebody at the beginning of the season, 105 games in, would you like to be 65 and 40 and the best record in baseball? Everybody and their brother and their mother was signed up for that, right?
8.5 games over the Braves.
8.5 games. So, think about that when you put this in perspective. Think of it that way.
It's a long season.
It is a long season. It's a hard game, Dave. Thank you, Tim Kirkchen. So overall, it's a .619 winning percentage, which gets us right at 100 wins, right over 100 wins.
Only 100 wins. We were on pace for 114. You get
when we had the Tim Kirkchen episode, I think we were at 114, 116 pace.
So you're gonna go through. I mean, it's crazy we've gone this long without hitting a slump. Everybody else has.
Everybody else has. And when we were, ripping off wins like we were at that clip, we all said, everybody said, enjoy it now. This is great. Stack them now because there will be a slump. There's might be multiple slumps.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. But then when it does happen, like right now, in between our recordings, from now to from the All-Star break to now, 9 games, we are 3-6. So yeah, obviously not good. It's honestly the worst 9-game, 10-game stretch out there besides the Chicago White Sox, who are 0-10.
Shout out Chicago.
Shout out to Chicago.
And it's one of those things. If you don't get a chance to watch every game, they feel a little stale. They do. Watching the games,
they do.
Maybe it doesn't help that it's 90 degrees. Like I was pretty miserable in the stands. I couldn't imagine how they feel, but it
feels like a grind. It feels like the dog days of summer grind.
Like, and even the 8-0 game, the complete game shutout, it kind of has gone back to like we either winning hitting home runs or we're losing not hitting home runs, and that's not that's not a 110 win team.
That's not sustainable baseball.
Yeah. So get back to playing the ball that they were playing. The whole team contributing. Those games where the back of the lineup was winning if the front top was struggling. So it feels like these trades bringing in some new energy. Hopefully is like a kickoff point to get back on track here.
Would be great. Would be great if we could.
Who went better to do it?
Not saying we're going to do it starting the day either. Like
against the Yankees.
Would be great if we did. It'd be great if we swept the Yankees like we swept the Dodgers, which we have lost 4 straight series now since sweeping the Dodgers.
4 straight series,
and have been 4-8. So it's been a rough stretch.
But luckily, it's like with glass half full or glass half empty. We could have taken this opportunity with all the other NL teams and could have absolutely put our foot on the neck of the National League and gone up 15 games.
Yeah.
But anybody else could have caught us. So at least everybody's struggling at once.
Yeah, and we have it here, right? The top 4 teams in the National League in the month of July are the Phillies, Dodgers, Brewers, and Braves. The Phillies are 10-11 in July. The Dodgers are also 10-11. The Brewers are 9-11, and the Braves are actually 9-12.
Yeah. So
that's another reason the Braves being 9-12, us being 10-11. We have been on this terrible stretch for the past 2.5 weeks, but we still gained a game on the Braves in the division.
That is crazy.
That is crazy, but we'll take it.
There's drama in the NL East.
It's building. It's building, and we're looking at it right here. So, the Mets are half a game back right now from the Braves to take over second place in the National League East.
So how long does Grimace magic last? We'll see. So there's 7 games.
Pretty long.
So the Mets, it might be an important couple series. I think we got 7 against the Mets at the end of the year. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly.
Is there a world? Not only is there a world where the Mets overtake the Braves for second in the National League.
Don't even say that.
Is there a world where the Braves don't make the playoffs?
I thought you were gonna like flip 07, 08 Mets collapse.
No.
There's not a world.
No.
Knock on it.
Not doing that, Tom. But is there a world where the Braves continue to slide? They have a lot of injuries.
They're really struggling.
A lot going against them.
There's good teams in the NL, and it's close. I don't see. I mean, there's absolutely a world where that happens. Labor Day weekend, maybe we can really kick them out.
Wouldn't that be something? Literally kick them out like we've done before.
That'd be fantastic. Yeah. I don't know if they would recover from that.
I know their fans wouldn't. All right, so breaking down series by series, we had 3 series over the last 9 games against the Pirates. Starting off, went 1-2 against the Buccos out in Pittsburgh.
I was disappointed we didn't get to see Skeens, and then even more disappointed that we played
the way we did.
The way we did, yes.
Yeah, game 1 was tough. This is the game we were watching in Phoenixville.
Yep.
Where we were up by 3 runs twice in that game. We started out 3-0 in the first inning. Then Nola blew it in the bottom of the first inning, lit up 3 runs for the Pirates, tied. We went up 3 runs again later. They came back. Ultimately, Nola did not have a great game, and Alvarado blew a 1-run lead in the 9th.
Yep.
You saw it coming from a mile away.
Yeah, fun game if you're not a fan of either of the Phillies. Just a terrible loss.
Awful loss. And it was the really bad way, and it might be part of it because momentum is everything in baseball. Kind of caught us on a bad time coming back from the All-Star break and led us right into game 2 where we lost again to the Pirates. It was the Pirates' actual 6th straight win at that point. Sanchez pitched well until he didn't. He let up 2 runs, one being a solo shot to Kutch in the 6th inning. And then Strom, also rare, had 2 earned runs that game too later on in the 8th.
Yeah, and more positive note. Harper ended with a homer solo shot, meaningless, really.
But was it meaningless?
Okay, because
when it happened, I'm like, okay, this is a shot in the arm. This game was over.
Right, yeah.
We were down 4-0 at that point. I'm like, solo shot, give it a little juice going into ending the game, going into the next day, and they did show up on Sunday.
Fair enough. Not meaningless to the team, meaningless to the game, I guess.
Yeah, it didn't mean they weren't going to win.
That kind of goes to show the mentality, because early in the season, down 4 runs and Harper's home run, you're like, oh, we're coming back winning this game. Didn't feel like that. Yeah.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, the little bit of the air came out of it feels like it's out of the balloons, but so they gotta start grinding again. They gotta get it back.
Fightings need to come back.
Yeah.
But game 3, they did, and they played really well. Won 6-0. Tyler Phillips,
Led by the kid. Yeah.
6 scoreless innings. He had a great start for them. It was really close for most of the game until the offense opened it up in the 7th. Went up 5-0. All small ball, all singles, which was great to see. That's what we were just talking about. We haven't seen that
more
much
consistently. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all been like home runs or
runners
bust.
stranded. Yep.
Yeah, runners in scoring position stranded. This game was not the case. And then Castellanos hit a deep drive to left in the 9th, immediately following Joe Biden dropping out of the presidential race.
It's not a political podcast. It's but Chris or Nick Castellanos does not discriminate. If there's some breaking news or anything that causes a significant amount of people to grieve, Castellanos locks in.
He does. Well, it was Trump the week before, and then he does not discriminate. Anything notable going on in the country or tragic out there,
where
he's ready to go.
Someone gets fired on
Prime
television. Jordan. yeah. That's probably one of the greatest baseball memes of all time, and it doesn't stop. It keeps going.
It keeps going. Yeah. It's a never-ending list at this point. All right, so we go to Minnesota next, and again, 1-2 in the series. Yep. Game 1, it was rain delayed for an hour and a half. I tried to stay up, I couldn't.
Another rain delay, which I'm pretty sure we still haven't had a game canceled from rain.
No, we haven't. We've played no doubleheaders this year.
That might end up kind of being an advantage to us, not having to jam in like doubleheaders late in the season. You know,
for sure. I hate doubleheaders.
Yeah,
I'm sure the players hate them even more. But
right.
Yeah, it's interesting that because last year we had a bunch. We had so many last year. And
we were at all of them. Every game we went to early in the season.
Yeah, but anyway, rain delayed for an hour and a half. It was late because it's already Central Time, back an hour, so I couldn't stay up much later than my bedtime. We went up 2-0 early, first inning. Harper with a laser out to right field.
Yeah,
home run, 2-0. His first at Target Field, by the way.
He's got one field left that he hasn't hit it in.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Which one? Do you remember which one it is?
I'm not sure.
I'll have to look it up. But Ranger, this is the game that Ranger pitched, and he did pitch better overall. He was on a pitch count, 85 pitches, and ultimately he did let up 3 earned runs, 2 of those in the 5th. But it was really, from what I saw, a bloop single. It was kind of just like a fluky single that brought in those 2 runs. So it wasn't like he was getting a hard hit ball that he was getting before to let up those earned runs. So he did pitch better. Obviously, still lingering injury issues where he's on the IL now, retroactive back to this date. But anyway, we lost 7-2 because of that 5th inning, and then the back end of the bullpen faltered with Sir Anthony and Junior Marte putting it out of reach later in the game.
No, actually, it was all 30. So until the Oakland move, or once Oakland moves, it won't be. But that means he's played in all 30 stadiums. And it was last month he homered against the A's, which means he's homered against all 30 major league franchises.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
What a stat!
Yeah, so just knocking.
That'll be on his Hall of Fame plaque someday.
So a big month, cool month.
Yeah. Well, game 2 against the Twins, we did end up winning. Wheeler came back from the injury. First time pitching since a week before the All-Star break.
Looked strong.
He did look strong.
Yeah.
He did.
Going tonight. Big one tonight.
Yeah, 7 scoreless innings last start. And was tied 0-0 going all the way into the 9th. Then we had a nice little rally at the top of the ninth to score 3 runs with a Marsh sac fly and a Castellanos double.
Yeah, that was a fun game to win it that way. Especially watching what happened to Paul Skeens, just the little sidetrack where Paul Skeens pitched a complete game, gave up 1 earned run,
And lost.
and got his first career loss.
That's an unbelievable stat. That's an unbelievable stat for him that we'll look back on 10 years from now and be like, can you tell me about Paul Skeens' first loss? Like, yeah, he threw a complete game, 1 hitter.
First career loss.
Or one run.
1 run. Yeah. Pirates. Classic Pirates.
Wild. In game 3, another loss here. We couldn't win the series. Lost 5-4. Nola pitched well most of the game, only letting up a solo shot. Only 1 home run for him, which is rare, honestly. Have to get my zingers in there with Nola when I can.
Yeah, this was a tough one.
He had bases loaded, though, and I remember texting you because it was a day game.
Yep.
He had bases loaded with 2 outs in the 6th, and usually that's where he implodes. Like, you're like, okay, here comes 3 runs.
Except for the Dodgers, he got out of it twice.
Yeah, he's been doing it. He got out of this one, too, and I was very proud of him. It was great to see.
Yeah, and Twins have been playing really well. This is a tough stretch, like, for what it's worth, and obviously continues a little bit. But
it was a tough stretch.
But yeah, that was the Marsh missed the
Kirkering loaded
catch.
the bases.
Yeah.
Strom came in, couldn't hold it. Should have gotten out of it, but Marsh, the alligator arm catch, I don't know what it was. He thought he was at the fence.
Right.
Afraid of the fence.
Just one of those rare misses.
It was like, oh my God, because he never misses
it's
like
that
that.
stuff all season that was going our way, kind of didn't go our way.
Yeah, basically. That's
Yeah.
you're a good point. It's kind of what it feels like in this game. And the Twins ultimately walked it off, eventually won in the 9th in that Soto game where he wanted the high leverage situation, and he was out there to close it. Did not work.
I didn't understand that, but we got him help now. Because Soto could be a big part of this bullpen, but you hope you don't just crush his confidence by those.
He's got to get right. He's got to get right. He's not a closer. He's got to know that. So now that we have a solidified closer in there, hopefully he can find his place. So we move on to the Guardians. We come back home. We get 3 against the Guardians here.
Very good team.
Second best team in baseball at this point. Game 1, lost. We ended up going 1-2 in the series. Game 1 was a loss 3-1. Sanchez did not look good on Friday night. Defensively, we did not look good either. It was sloppy all over the place. Trey had an error. Bryce had an error. Sanchez, in one play, he threw home when he should have thrown to first. It was
that was strange. Yeah, it was a pretty sloppy game.
It was just very sloppy.
And the Guardians are a team. I think it's like by far the best bullpen in baseball. Yeah. If you're down going into the stretch, it's going to be tough to come back against them, and that proved in game 1 and game 3.
The ump was also terrible.
It was some really bad ones.
He was really bad calls. That's when our hitting coach got thrown out of the game. I can't think of his name right now. I know his name, but anyway,
once you say it,
yeah, he got thrown out because he was just. It was like 3rd or 4th inning. It was that bad early on.
But on a positive note, we usually like to do the sandwich method where you sandwich 2 good things or bad thing in between 2 good things. This series was 2 bad games where we couldn't come back. But the game in the middle, game 2, Tyler Phillips, he's awesome.
He's been the bright spot.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Over the past 2 weeks.
Complete game shutout. I'm glad they let him pitch. It was like, what did he end up, 124, 126 pitches? I think it was like 124 pitches. So they let him go, which is awesome.
Yeah, and it's for the Phillies, it's our 4th complete game shutout this year. There's only been 12 all season for any team.
So Wheeler's the one guy who hasn't still then.
Because it was Ranger, Phillips, Nola, Sanchez. Yeah,
Chris Sanchez is. Yeah, he did it Friday night with the ugly jerseys.
Yeah, you're right.
So Wheeler's due. Come on, Wheeler is step it up, bro.
He is due.
Yeah, tonight against the Yankees.
That would be great. So yeah, it was a bit of a home run derby. They were all home runs. 4th inning, we had 3. Bryce, 2-run homer. Marsh, 2-run homer. Schwarber, 3-run homer. And then Castellanos obviously had to come into play. And he's been on an absolute tear, which we'll talk about.
Yeah, 3 home runs like that in 1 inning is insane.
Yeah.
You just end the game. That's a mercy rule situation.
Game 3 was our final loss of this stretch. Lost 4-3 yesterday. Hard game to watch. Schwarber with all 3 RBIs. He had 2 home runs, a solo shot to lead off the game, and then a 2-run homer in his next at bat. Thought we were cruising with 3-0. Ultimately, it was more of a bullpen game, and we had a starter out there came up from AAA. He lit up a 3-run home run himself, tied it up, and then Alvarado struggled again, letting up the other run for the Guardians, ultimately the winning run in the 7th on a solo shot as well.
Yeah, and I was at this game, and I mean, like you said, essentially a bullpen game. It was rookie pitcher versus rookie pitcher, so the ultimate fault for this is on our offense because those guys were able to jump on our staff. We should have been able to jump on them.
We jumped on them because lead off home run.
Yeah, and once we went down, and once the Guardians can go into that bullpen, they have the best bullpen in baseball. It's gonna make it hard. And we were 22-4 when Schwarber hit a leadoff home run coming into this game. Now 22-5. So with Schwarber leadoff home run,
it's usually pretty good. I mean, that 22-5 is a great record.
But I'm not gonna lie, I was at this game. It was miserable. 135. It was 90 degrees and sunny. It was hot.
It looked pretty miserable. All right, so year-over-year comparison to where we were last year at this point, 105 games in. Last year we were 56-49, 7 games over 500. Right now we are 25 games over 500. So still, in comparison, again, like we said at the beginning of this segment, keep it in perspective. If anybody asked you at the beginning of the season, this is exactly where we'd want to be. Everybody would sign up for this.
Oh, yeah.
With that said,
pretty fun team. I think
it is a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. But with that said, this past 2 weeks have not been good. We're 11 for 55 with runners in scoring position since the All-Star break.
Ooh, that hurts.
That's a 200 average.
That hurts.
That's been a huge reason why, on top of our bullpen pitching. 2 big reasons. Rob said it yesterday, we're either pitching really well and not hitting, or we're hitting and not pitching.
11:55. I mean, think about that 4th inning was those 3. Take away those 3 home runs. That's probably 3 of them.
Yeah, exactly. 4 straight series losses, like we talked about, but still 2 games up on the Guardians for top team in the Major League Baseball. And we already talked about this. We still made up a game on the Braves in the National League East, and we're struggling kind of like everybody else is. All these other top dogs. So if we're going to be struggling and we had to pick a time with everybody else, this would be the time. Yeah, especially before the trade deadline, because it's good to see our flaws now versus after the trade deadline. We're like, I wish we would have gotten a bullpen arm, or I wish we would have gotten another bat in the outfield.
Yeah,
and we didn't.
Because now it's like, all right, because late in the season, if you're looking for a spark, there's nothing you can do. You got to find it internally. Now it's like, all right, can we provide a spark by bringing in Jeff Hoffman's best friend?
Yeah, it's the silver lining. It's the silver lining for this. The timing is good. If there is ever a time to be in a slump like this, the timing is now.
So let's hit a little bit of quality. I think we kind of covered it throughout those recaps a lot, but we do got to keep the players accountable in the boardroom a little bit.
Yeah, and our bullpen has not been great, especially 2 players, Jose Alvarado and Orion Kirkering, have not been pitching well the past 9 games. Jose Alvarado, we talked about it, but he's 0-2, so he has 2 losses under his belt. So he's blown games for us over the past 9 games. He's 0-2 with an 8.1 ERA in the past 5 games. Past 4 appearances, sorry. It's been brutal for him, but even worse, honestly, a name that not a lot of people have been talking about, it's all the heat's been going on Alvarado, is Kirkering. Over his last 5 appearances over the last 2 weeks, he's had 11.25 ERA and only 4 strikeouts.
Yeah, he hasn't looked himself, because these are guys. Orion has made a living so far hitting the strike zone, and he's struggled to hit the strike zone. And I think guys are just getting on him when he's going behind in counts. Like these guys early in the year, everybody was just getting ahead in counts, and they just haven't been able to get back to that. So you got Jose. I feel like he's clearly like an emotional riding the wave. If he's down, he needs something to turn him around. He needs a couple big innings, but once he gets momentum. So hopefully he gets it together, because he's a huge part of the bullpen come playoff time.
He is.
But Orion, maybe it is the workload thing too, but it hasn't been that much workload. So yeah, hopefully these guys get it together with our 2 all-star bullpen guys.
Yeah, and we'll see. They should get it right. But honestly, a bigger concern of mine is Trey and Bryce, two of our all-stars on the offensive side, have been struggling since the All-Star break. So I don't know if there's some lingering just fatigue or whatever it is around All-Star games. And this happens to a lot of guys that are All-Stars. Trey is hitting 184 the past 9 games, and Harper is hitting 158. Not great.
Yeah. I'm not concerned, but to say I'm not concerned overall, I'm not concerned.
Yeah, they're going to get it right, back, but it's concerning right now. It's a big reason why 2 bats in the middle of the meat of your order are not hitting.
Yeah, when bats go cold, it sucks. It sucks. If you're not watching every game, you're catching up, but that just it feels stale. That's what that kind of the whole overarching thing we're talking about. It's because Trey getting on base, batting 340, really drives this offense, and Harper being Harper and doing not batting 180, or 150,
158.
Yeah,
I mean, he's still hitting 285 for this season, and in top 10 in a lot of these hitting categories, including home runs, walks, on base percentage, slugging. He's obviously having a great season. Same thing with Trey. He's hitting 326 overall, but it's just been a bad stretch, and there are 2 big reasons why we need to get them going.
Yeah, and JT batting 118 in his return. You got to think he's just knocking off some rust, I hope, because,
you take that with a grain of salt. Put it on here. He's only played in 5 games over the past 9. But, yeah, he's a little rusty right now, as to be expected. He didn't have any, games in the minors to kind of come up and rehab, right? So, obviously been a little bit of struggle for him. And the same thing with Marsh. Marsh doesn't really have an excuse. He's hitting 130 right now, the past 9 games.
Well, hopefully putting some competition out there for playing time with him, some real competition.
That's kind of what he's doing.
Yeah.
We'll see how it all plays out.
Maybe Aaron Dolan's to blame. Or maybe he's trying to impress her friend. I don't know.
Maybe. But there are a couple guys, 3 guys in particular, that have been playing really well. I would say they're in the green from a quality standpoint. One of those being Aaron Dolan's rumored boyfriend, Alec Boehm.
So something new motivating him.
Yeah,
he's got some kind of new secret sauce.
Even though he's pretty, we have him in the green, but he's actually playing exactly where he's been playing all season. All season overall, he's hitting 295, and right now the past 9 games he's hitting 300.
Yeah, there's been a couple spots.
Only 1 RBI though, which is interesting because this guy's an RBI machine.
Nobody's getting on base.
Nobody's getting on base.
Trey's not on base. Harper's not on base.
That's very true. Good point, Tom.
And there's also been a couple times where we've been looking for a big hit and just hoping, and you're like, all right, Boehm can be that guy now if Trey's struggling, and just hasn't really.
Yeah, he's great at getting singles and doubles, and then everybody behind him can't get him in.
Yeah,
but there is one guy who can.
It's funny with Nicky C. If he's struggling at all, he's the only person you hear about. But when he's playing well, nobody talks about him.
And this is the first time that we knew this day was coming this season where we would talk about Nick Castellanos in this light. Nick Castellanos, in the past 9 games, since the All-Star break, is batting 324, 11 hits, 2 home runs. Okay? That's great. But even crazier and more of note, in the past 34 games, going all the way back to June 17th against the Padres, past 34 games, Nick Castellanos is hitting 318, 41 hits, 6 home runs, and 24 RBIs.
He's that guy, man.
That stretch, 34 games, his objective for us is 100 RBIs for the season. It's going to be hard for him to get that. He's an 83 pace right now. But if he keeps that pace, that where he is over the past 34 games, he'd be at 108.
Right, and yeah,
it's incredible.
With his pace, we never adjusted. I don't think we adjusted his 100.
We kept it at 100
because we knew, how bad he was early.
He could always come on.
Yeah,
there's still a chance.
He's just swinging. It looks like he's swinging so comfortably. He's hitting up the third base line, up the first base line. But he makes it look easy when he's on. But there's still people that just hate his guts. But
I love it. Good for him.
When he's struggling, just come playoff time.
And he could take this all the way for the rest of the season. That's just how he is. He's hitting how everybody expects him to hit. So good for him. Happy to see it finally this season.
He's got, I think, the most starts on the team.
He's played every game. It started every single game so far this year.
Even when everybody was like, why is Nick Castellanos the only player immune to getting a sack? I think it's just one of those things Topper just understands, like, hey, this is how I have to work with this guy. Yeah,
that's how he is.
Yeah.
And then lastly here, a positive note, Tyler Phillips. We talked about his games. He's 2-0 over the past 9 games, 0 ERA, with one of those being the complete game.
Yeah.
Been an absolute stud for us coming from AAA. Hometown boy, great to see. Like, he's just awesome to watch. All of his emotions are on his sleeves. He talks to himself out on the field. He's just entertaining.
Yeah, I saw the one comparison, Jared Eichhoff, like that one of the guys that was in the Cole Hamels trade to the with the Rangers, just a big body, just a kind of a bulldog on the mound. Like it's a lot of those comparisons. I think he was our best pitcher in 2016. Kind of people remember those years.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a big kid. Great. I saw pieces of interviews. Yeah, grew up a huge Phillies fan. There's pictures of him in the 700 level. So that's just a very, very cool thing going on right now.
It's great to see. Yeah. Bright spot of the past 2 weeks, honestly. Now we'll move on to cost. So just one thing to note here. We have a big series coming up right now with the Yankees. And this is the most sought-out series of all season. We both have season tickets. I sold one of my games. Sold Wednesday's tickets. I'm going to Tuesday, so I'm trying to buy tickets. And they're definitely the most sought out after this season. The cheapest tickets that we can find for any of those 3 games are at least $100 in the regular season. It's going to be a party down there. It's going to be a great time. Playoff atmosphere for sure. Even that Wednesday 12:35 game.
The Yankees in the Subway Series, the Yankees Mets last week or 2 weeks ago, a bunch of boneheads got in a huge fight. Keep that out. Keep that out of
We don't need that. We don't need that here. We don't need that here. So looking forward, Tom, we have a couple big series again, keeping on this really hard stretch for us. Starting with tonight, like right now, game 1 against New York. We have 3-game series at home here against the Yankees.
Yeah, I actually just looked. Aaron Judge hit a home run in his first at bat. We're down 1-0 at the moment.
Oh, brutal.
But yeah, a lot of game left. Then we go on the road. Seattle, another West Coast trip. Los Angeles, Arizona. 4-game series, and then after our next recording is going to be another tough stretch. But right now it's all Yankees.
All Yankees, and it's going to be a fun series. We just talked about it. Most sought out tickets for so far this season, and we have a special guest on with us, our good friend Connecticut Chris, Daddy Yankee himself. Chris, welcome to the Phils Boardroom.
Thank you for the boardroom introduction. The boardroom's much larger and more elegant and phenomenal than I was expecting.
Good to hear. I'm glad that you've been a fan, even as a Yankees fan. Appreciate that.
Yeah, for everybody watching it on YouTube, yeah, he's you can just imagine where he is. I'm picturing you in a giant boardroom now.
Connecticut Chris.
I'm right here.
All right, Chris. So you're a mega Yankee fan, right? We've known this ever since we've known you. That's all. It's basically your entire personality. It seems like. You have season tickets like we do, like a partial plan, right?
Yep, exactly.
And you've been. How long have you had that for?
Got the season tickets in 2018, so I think this would be our 7th season with them.
Okay, all right. Some obviously good seasons.
I was expecting you to make
there, but not as great as you want to be. Yeah, no, we could have had you great. Could have had you down here.
Davey and I talked about trying to make a trip down there, but it was timing didn't work out. But yeah, I mean, I've had season tickets for about 7 years now. Been a Yankee fan since I was a little kid, since like 2000-ish. So, obviously, super spoiled as a Yankees fan and very privileged, considering the fact that they haven't had a losing season since basically the year I was born. They came super close last year. They definitely tried their best.
Here we go.
But yeah, I mean, and just to give you a little bit of background on the boys this year. Coming into the season, it kind of felt a little bit, we'll see. Soto trade was huge. They gave up quite a bit, but a lot of expendable pieces that, like a backup catcher, couple starting pitchers that came up last year to have spot starts or fill in the rotation while guys were getting injured. So the Soto trade was obviously huge.
Yeah, he'll be a Philly. He'll be a Philly next year. Don't worry. What do you think about what do you think about your little pickup, Jazz Chisholm?
Jazz Chisholm, they've been such a
unbelievable. He just hit a home run. I swear, like right now. Like,
no way.
Jazz Chisholm just did?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We're down 2-0.
He is a Phillies killer. He is a Phillies killer.
The Yankees offensively this year, they have maybe the second most runs scored in baseball, but it's been a tale of two halves where they started off super hot. They were like 50 and 24. They were basically neck and neck with the Phils in terms of who had the best record. And then all of a sudden it was just like Stanton got hurt. Rizzo broke his arm. Glaber was not producing. Volpe cooled off. All these guys, except for Judge and Soto, just forgot how to play. Trevino got hurt. So I think they've been like they've won the last couple against the Sox, but they're like 12 and 26 in their last 30-ish, something like that.
Yeah. We're going in the start of this a similar stretch, honestly. That's what it feels like.
Also, yeah,
but Chris, you know what?
Chris, you're not allowed to call into the show anymore, Chris. Rice just hit a home run. We're down 3-0.
No way.
Yeah. Can't make this up.
Oh, my gosh. Dude, Rice has been like hitting like 200 for a while. So I'm sorry to bring your boys bad luck. But,
no, but yeah,
I mean.
Like you were saying with Judge, though, it must be fun because, I mean, he's running away with the MVP. He's just been unbelievable.
Dude, his April was so bad. People were starting to question the contract. He was hitting under 200. He was walking, but he wasn't really doing much. And then he has just been on almost a historic pace since then with, like, you look at the leaderboard now across the league, he's leading the league in almost every single offensive metric. It's just, the guy is just a freak of nature.
After he got ejected, right? Wasn't that what it was?
Yes. You know what? It did coincide quite nicely with that. So you know what? It would be super awesome if the Yankees could find a way to pull it together here, and the Phils. The Phils have been playing amazing baseball for most of the season. If those guys could meet in the World Series it would be the third time they've ever met in the World Series. It would be super, super exciting.
It would be great to have the invite extended out in October for you to come down here for that.
Dude.
Hey, you know what? I usually end up securing as many postseason tickets as I can at face value, so I could try to hook you boys up.
We could do that too.
Same here. We'll do a swap. No, I've been saying all year, like, it's almost like, our 08 was great. Nobody cares that we beat the Rays, but like that Eagles Super Bowl, the fact that we beat Tom Brady and beat the Patriots made it that much sweeter. Getting revenge against the Yankees, like, I don't know.
From 09.
And it seems like we've been on a crash course, I think that's
we'll see.
If the script writers are doing their jobs.
Yeah, we're in the middle of a similar slump though to you right now. Hopefully not as long. And I also hopefully don't think that you guys are right in the ship in this series right now. But right now it doesn't look good. Down on 3-0 already in Game 1. What do you expect the rest of this series, Chris? Thinking obviously you just won 2 of 3 against the Red Sox. You think you guys are right in the ship now? What do you expect out of this series with some of the matchups coming up next 3 games?
I think we've got some good matchups coming up against the Phils. I mean, we've got Heel on the mound tonight. He looks like he's starting to right the ship. He had an unbelievable first couple of months. He was really basically great, he was in line to be the AL starter for the All-Star game, and then he had a couple of terrible starts, and that really threw him off, and I don't think he even made the team. Garrett Cole's starting to get it together.
Against our boy Nola tomorrow night.
Yeah, we got these pitching matchups really lined up pretty amazing.
That's a star-studded one tomorrow. And Cole then, and you know what? Nestor Cortez, his name's being floated in trade discussions right now, and he's scheduled to throw on Wednesday against y'all. So
against Christopher Sanchez,
Yeah, so we'll see if he still makes that start, if he's still on the team. Is the deadline... Is it the 30th or the 31st this year?
Tomorrow at 6.
Tomorrow at 6, the 30th at 6. Yeah. Which is, that caught me off guard, too, because there's 31 days. It's like, why is it the 30th? Whatever.
I don't know how they pick it, actually. But great pitching matchups. Like, this is going to be a lot of fun. Should be a lot of fun. Tomorrow, I obviously have tickets to another NOLA start. So,
of course.
It's every NOLA start at home I go, feels like. I don't plan for it, but I am. But that one's going to be an awesome matchup against Garrett Cole. It's going to be a lot of fun for sure.
So are you taking off work on Wednesday? 12:35 game, just for everybody out there. Prepare to have an extended lunch break.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think this is one of the bigger matchups of the year. I mean, you get Yankees, Red Sox, Yankees, Phillies, Orioles. Those are the ones that you. If you're not calling off work, you're at least you got your second screen up and you're not paying attention to work.
If it was in New York, it would have been a great day to play hooky and work and go out to the Bodega Bar. I introduced that to Tom.
Oh, dude, yeah. I made it to Yankee Stadium for the beginning of last season. It was my first time out there, new Yankee Stadium, and yeah, Dave showed me you slip in behind the bodega. Dude, that was awesome. It's like an outside bar.
If anybody ever gets a chance to go out there to a Yankees game, you would never expect it. It's a little difficult to find if you don't know what you're looking for, but it's an absolute blast and extremely cheap.
Chris, were you the one
extremely cheap?
Were you the one who introduced Dave to that?
Yeah,
I am. I brought him into the light.
Well, thank you by extension. we had a blast. There was like all the Yankees fans were just super confused that these like three random Phillies guys were back there.
We knew.
They're usually pretty well.
We had the intel.
No, everybody was very, very nice.
All right, so let's have some fun here now. I want to do our team building activity, which is how we end all of our shows. And with the Olympics currently going on, thought we would do a little head-to-head Olympic challenge, right? Phillies versus Yankees. So what we're going to do is we have 3 bags here, and we have a bag with Phillies players, a bag with Yankees players, and then a bag with random Olympic head-to-head sports.
I like it.
So let me pick them up here. All right, Tom, you want to take this one? You get the Yanks. I'll get the Phils. So we also know who's going to end it, so we won't pick them.
Okay.
We'll end it with the managers. But starting off here for the Phillies, all right, we got Nick Castellanos.
Oh, this is a good matchup.
Nick Castellanos, who you got?
This guy, he actually is a member of my fantasy baseball team that is struggling mightily right now, Giancarlo Stanton.
Ooh, this is a good one. Oh, okay. Well, you got Nick Castellanos and Giancarlo Stanton in the Olympic high jump. Who would win?
Oh.
Who would win?
Castellanos in by a mile.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Giancarlo is there's a reason he's DH, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Nick, Nick has been actually a pretty solid fielder for us all season. Even last year, he gets a bad rap defensively sometimes, but he doesn't look the most elegant out there, I will say.
Yeah, I know.
You know what, boys?
Jumper.
He's not necessarily robbing a lot of fly ball, a lot of.
What's your take, Chris?
The wall here.
If some horrible public event happens before the high jump, you got to take Castellanos every day. But regardless, I'm going with him. Stanton, he can't run, he can't jump, he can't.
I think
anything that requires muscles he could do, but jumping, I don't know about that.
I think that's one for the good guys.
All right.
I think that's one for the good guys.
One for the Phils. All right. Next up, we got Bryson Stott.
Nice, young energy against Charles Radon.
Carlos Rodon.
What did I say? Did I say Charles? Reading.
Charles Radon.
I don't podcast to read. All right.
That's okay.
All right.
What's your take?
In the javelin.
Oh.
Ooh. Okay. I think Rodon is a bulldog out there on the mound, and he's a little bit of a psychopath. So
automatic advantage. He's a pitcher. Yeah.
So I threw the javelin in high school. It is not that easy.
Did you really?
I did. 2 years jav. Wasn't good.
Big jav guy.
If you coming from baseball player, it was incredibly hard to throw it because you can't throw it like a baseball.
Huh.
You need to throw it more like a football.
Still shoulder motion.
I'll go with Rodon.
Yeah, I think you take.
But if he's erratic though, it's so easy off the jump to just be on left or right. Stott is he's a pretty good fielder. And can turn double play with the best of all of them.
The second base, he's not throwing it that far though. I think the Yanks take this one.
All right. 1-1. What's the next one here?
We got the rubber match.
I got the Yankees got a good pick.
We'll do a couple more here.
They got Garrett Cole.
Garrett Cole
Ooh.
versus JT Realmuto.
Oh,
Okay.
JT is
he's probably the best athlete on our team.
Yeah, he's an absolute freak athlete.
Okay. In
It's gonna be ice skating or something.
table tennis, ping pong.
Oh,
Garrett Cole, JT Realmuto.
dude, JT is
table tennis.
JT's smoking
Smoking
Garrett
him.
Cole in table tennis.
Ooh, that's a good matchup. That's actually a legitimately good matchup.
What do you think? You think Cole's got it in him? Because JT's not going to get tired. He's used to being in a squatting athletic position. He can move. He can get to the ball if it's a wild bounce.
I'd say JT by a nose, to be honest with you.
I think it's JT.
Yeah, 'cause that's a tough draw for Cole.
He's got great hand-eye coordination.
All right, you got Volpe. Anthony Volpe.
Volpe against Harper.
Oh,
Volpe, Harper, in. Oh, what do we got? What do we got? I don't know. Pommel horse.
oh.
Do you know what the pommel horse is? Everybody know what the pommel horse is?
So it's the one that looks like
the gymnastics.
big gymnastics thing with the two bars. You spin
And they spin and
flail
swing
your
on it.
legs around. Yeah.
Volpe and Harper.
man.
Harper's going to be intense no matter what.
Yeah.
You know that. Like I don't know much about Volpe. I mean,
Harper's
he's young.
Volpe's got
right?
he's got a very sweet look to him, but he's got a little bit of a dog in him. Not as big of a dog as Harper, but I think he's also more flexible and agile than Harper. Not as strong as Harper.
Right. Yeah. The core strength. The core
It's all
strength
flexibility and the core strength.
it's pretty much flexibility versus core strength. How we want to go on this one.
I think Volpe probably would. I hate to
I'd
say
probably
it.
go Volpe.
I hate to say it.
Yeah, I think Harper.
It'd be great to see Harper. He's going to be intense. He'll give it his all, but
He would just.
his body type just
It would
not
just be
it.
swinging in circles. There wouldn't be any
It'd be
finesse
fierce.
to it. Yeah.
It'd be fierce.
So what are we at? 2-2.
2-2. So we'll do one more here out of the
All right,
bag.
this is fun. Let's do a couple. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right. Kyle Schwarber.
All right, that's a loss for us.
Depends. It depends.
And Austin Wells.
Breakdancing.
Oh God.
Breakdancing. New Olympic sport, breakdancing, by the way.
Never mind. I'm taking Schwarber.
Schwarber, Austin Wells, breakdancing. Dude,
Yeah,
Schwarber.
I'm going.
Okay, I'm glad he got this one because Schwarber and I have similar body type, and I am a pretty good dancer. I think you guys could both attest to that. Be honest. Be honest. Be honest.
You are.
Okay.
You are.
Yes.
But nobody would expect it, and I think Schwarber's
True.
the same type.
And he would bring the energy.
He's bringing it. He's
The
bringing it.
judges, he would melt the judges.
Yeah.
He'd melt
Nobody
the
would
ice.
expect it,
yeah.
and he's got it. Schwarber.
I'll give you Schwarber.
Same
I'll give you
page,
Schwarber.
Chris. All right.
All right. So I think
3-2 good guys.
you want to do one more out of this, and then we'll do the managers.
Managers tie break.
Yeah. All right.
Ah, dude, yeah. So here you go. You got your boy Aaron Judge.
Okay.
All right.
Aaron Judge, Zach Wheeler.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh boy.
This is literally just going to depend on the event. Yeah.
Well, right now today, Aaron Judge is one up on Zach Wheeler.
Yes.
In reality. In the sport called dressage, which is horse dancing. It's the one that Kevin Hart and Snoop Dogg were saying they were like crip walking.
Yeah, the crip walking horses.
Yeah.
I don't know. Judge is pretty big to get on
Yeah,
the
I think
horse.
this is a good pull for Wheeler. Wheeler's a
Yeah,
country
that's a
boy
good
from
pull.
Georgia.
Good pull for Wheeler. Yeah, I got to go Wheeler.
Yeah,
Judge is too big for
That
that.
poor horse. Yeah.
All right, so what? 4-2 Phillies. So we won it, but let's play one more round.
Manager's worth 3.
Managers worth 3. So we got Rob Thompson, there's Aaron Boone, okay, in. Find a good one here. Let's see, random. 400 meter swimming. Now, Chris, you were a swimmer, right?
Rob Thompson,
I was a
Aaron
swimmer,
Boone.
yeah.
You
Both
can-
guys athletes, both guys competitive. Man, Boone's I feel like.
Boone's got
I
the
got
length.
Booney. I got Booney in the 400.
What's the distance? 400?
400. It's,
Oh,
it's
dude.
what, down and back?
Yeah, it's a quarter mile.
4 times.
Let's give Rob Thompson a redemption. Give him 3 sports. Or give him 2 sports.
All right, we'll give him one more. All right, well,
Boone's
Boone's got that one. Boone's got that one. Boone's got that one. Last one here. Last
There's
one
no
here.
question.
Fencing.
Oh man,
Ooh.
I would pay to see that.
Topper, hockey player. He's good with the stick.
He's good with.
Get it with the
That's
stick.
a toss-up.
He's good with the
That's a
stick.
toss-up.
And he's they're both managers. All
And
right.
Aaron Boone's fighting for his job right now, so he might have a little more tenacity.
The Yankees fans just always say
He's
that.
not fighting for his job.
The Yankees fans just always say that, and it's never true.
Well, he's in a contract year, so that's why I say that.
Okay.
I'm not calling for him, but I do think that if things go south, that they might not.
It might be a draw. That might be a battle for all time.
He seems like I feel like if I was a Yankees fan, I would love Aaron Boone, but I don't know. I saw he was on the Kirkjian podcast recently. He's pretty awesome.
All right, we'll leave that one up.
Booney.
We'll leave that one up for the board of directors to decide.
Let's call it one more.
Aaron Boone, Rob Thompson in a fencing match. Who wins? Let us know.
Yes.
Our socials. Okay.
Give us one more tie break.
You want one more?
One more.
All right, one more. I dropped the bag already, Tom.
Drop the bag.
All right.
I didn't know you were a javelin guy. Dave, were you a jav off? A javelin?
I was not good, like I said. Sorry, I'm mixing up the bags now. All right. One more. Aaron Boone, Rob Thompson. Oh, I'm glad we did this, actually. All right. Last one here. Aaron Boone, Rob Thompson. Rhythmic gymnastics, also known as floor dancing. It's the one with the ribbon, like in Old School with Will Ferrell, where he's doing that. That's a sport.
That would be electric. Chris, your take.
I'm biased, obviously. I think Rob Thompson's got that. He's locked in. That expression on his face. he doesn't change.
I think we're all going biased. I got to go with my boy Booney.
Yeah, Booney, because Booney is like, he's known for his impressions. He can physically manipulate himself.
He gets animated almost every other day when he gets tossed out of baseball games.
Yeah, the advantage of Rob Thompson would be that like it would be so like fish out of water. Well, it turns out he was like a class clown growing up. We learned so like.
I did see that.
He could bring it. All right,
you know who else is a class clown? Will Ferrell, and he did a great job in Old School.
Phenomenal.
So I mean.
All right, you can give it to Rob.
We'll leave this up to the viewers.
We'll leave these last two up to the listeners, but ultimately, when it comes down to Phillies players, we dominated 4-2 in the Olympic sports. So that's all that really matters.
Dude, Chris, thanks for calling, man. Next time we'll have to at least get you on Zoom, show off your beautiful face to everybody.
Yeah, hopefully.
Or in person.
No, let's do it in person when they face off in the World Series matchup.
Oh, do it at the boardroom.
Absolutely. Oh, we will 100% do that.
Yeah. Let's hope for it.
Let's go.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Really appreciate it. Connecticut Chris joining us today in the Phils Boardroom. It was a lot of fun, Tom. Thanks, everybody, for listening. And go Phils.
Go Phils.